Hi, I'm Michael Morisy. I'm here today to talk about Scour. It's our prototype crowdsourcing platform that I'm really excited can help newsrooms and nonprofit organizations and just any sort of civic actor quickly scale up to kind of use their audience, use their supporters to answer really big, complicated questions. So the genesis of this came around when we were trying to figure out what could we do to kind of help newsrooms tell fuller stories about the communities that they serve. And what could we do to kind of help people fully comprehend sort of the scale of the response to COVID-19 as well as other major stories that were kind of changing the shape of the United States and quite frankly, communities around the world, right? So one of the things that I've always really been inspired by is projects that try to take a comprehensive look and sort of help people understand how different communities are responding differently to issues. And this has been really clear with COVID-19, where you have a very similar crisis that's impacting every country around the world, and political leaders are facing the same threat but responding very differently. And so Axios, for example, has been doing some really interesting reporting work where they're kind of going in and kind of comparing different state by state responses. So this is one of the projects that I really liked. They looked at states where face coverings are mandatory, right? And so this reporter had to go in, do a ton of research, compare this all, clean up all of this data, uh, and that takes a lot of time, and that's tough to do just once, and it's very tough to keep in an updated way. And so you can see this project. I'm sure this is something that's very valuable information. I'm sure that these policies are changing on a week by week, if not even day by day basis but this project hasn't been updated since last month. So already this is probably out of date in ways that just aren't sustainable for one person or even a small team to kind of continue to invest in, especially if they're going to be doing ongoing reporting. And so we said, what can we do to kind of take assets that these organizations, readers if you're a news organization, or viewers if you're a news organization, or maybe volunteers or participants if you're a nonprofit organization, take that energy and sort of use it to scale up data collection efforts in some really interesting ways. And so what we did was we built Source Scour that makes it very easy for somebody to kind of quickly go in and define a project with a drag and drop interface. And you can sort of determine, hey, how many people do you want to answer each question? And what you basically do is set up a series of questions that you want to run against a data set. So in this case, if we were to replicate that project, we would upload a database of all 50 states and then ask questions like, what is your face mask policy within those states? But we could also upload a database of all counties or all countries around the world or any other sort of data that we could think of, right? So for example, maybe we're really interested in school district responses. We could go in and select a database of all school districts. And this is one of the things where it can be really powerful to integrate Wikidata data, which we've been experimenting with. And it's been really cool to kind of think through all the potentials there, where it's not just, hey, do I happen to have a list of X? But you can kind of tap into this larger repository and say, hey, kind of scale across, scan across all this information, and this is what I want questions answered about. Maybe every president, every senator, I want you to kind of go through and look at all of that data in a very flexible way. So you kind of quickly can kind of drag and drop different questions here, set things up. We have ways to kind of say that everything needs to be entered multiple times to help with verification. And then your readers, your audience, your supporters are kind of presented with an embeddable form that looks something like this, where they kind of go out and they say, okay, here, answer this question about the Cambridge Law Department. And then every time they enter new information, they're given a different agency, or it kind of iterates down that spreadsheet or that database that you uploaded so that you get a comprehensive look at that information. So see, now it says Miami-Dade Public Housing. And then you can quickly kind of help channel people's interest in volunteering, interest in participating, interest in helping be part of the solutions into quickly gathering up data, even if that data is rapidly changing. And one of the things we did is we made it very quick to both set these things up, but also to participate. So after you put in one piece of information, you're just shown the next question, and sort of quickly can kind of iterate through a lot of different research tasks. And then the people running the project get access to all of that data in a browsable format. They can download that data as a CSV, and we also have an API. So if you want to programmatically build an interactive on top of some source scour gathered data, it's very easy to do those kinds of integrations. So we're super excited to see where this goes. If you have ideas, I'm just Michael at muckrock.com and would love to chat.